Hey guys, how are we? Well, I'm on Athena Street here in Athens and just opposite the municipality here, and just visited my friends at Moncrulor, who graciously gave me a very nice bun. There you go. So yeah, if you want good coffee, can't go past Moncrulor on Athena Street in Athens. So go and say hello to the guys. Best coffee in all of Greece. So interesting times in the world. Just wanted to do a brief video, and I know I haven't done a video for a while, but we've got a lot going on at the moment. So we're just on the cusp of heading to Thailand, just waiting for these notaries to go back to work, get off their big bums and go and do some work and stop complaining. We've been waiting for a month, so all the paperwork's drawn up to settle, and we can't do anything because they're complaining about things. So that's where things are at the moment for us. Once they go back to work, then we'll settle and we'll be off. So interesting times. So things are heating up between Russia and Ukraine and Western Europe, like NATO. And it's getting more and more complicated, and it's exactly what I said would happen. As much as people said, oh, it's not going to escalate, it is. And we knew that. Purely because it's an honor shame society. You don't put a golden bridge for Russia to retreat back over and save a bit of face. You're going to have a all-out conflict, and that's what's going to happen. Now they're talking about shutting off the energy supplies to Western Europe, in particular Poland, etc. And that just creates further problems and different dynamics in Europe. So keep that in mind, because this is going to get out of hand very quickly. The other issue I need to touch on briefly is that you've got weapons that are being shipped into Ukraine. And, you know, as to where they're going to end up, who knows? Because we saw the same thing happen with the war in Syria, etc. Weapons that were meant to be in the hands of certain parties ended up in the hands of some very strange groups indeed. The other thing that we've got to keep an eye on at the moment is also the supply chain issues. China, I'm sure that China at the moment is engaged in an act of war. They're shutting down those supply lines by shutting down Shanghai and other ports and cities. It's under the guise of fighting a particular health issue, but at the end of the day, what's happening is that you're seeing a massive supply line issue. So there's shortages of everything right around the world, and it's really, they're trying to cripple the Western economy. And I would say that they're succeeding at it at this point. We also have video of some of their officials explicitly saying that this is an act of war, trying to coerce their civilians to comply. So anyway, there's that issue. The other issue that that is at hand at the moment is the interest rates. They're going to be put up purely to fight inflation. The West has been engaged in adding money to the M1 money supply since 2008, and we knew this was just kicking the can down the road. It was always obvious that this was going to be the consequence. Now that inflation is starting to take hold in the West, because I've added too much money into the M1 money supply by just printing more money. So they print more money, and then they buy the treasury bonds and then stick that money in the system. That causes inflation. So because your money becomes worthless. So as a way to try and counteract that, what they're going to do is stick the interest rates up. And that is just another tax on the common man. It's a sneaky tax, but it's just another way to tax people. So look out in the West, particularly later this year, early to mid next year, you're going to see massive problems, particularly around mortgages and property defaults. And it's not just going to be one or two properties. A lot of these people are highly leveraged, and they're going to lose the entire property portfolios because they've used the equity in the first, second and third and fourth property to buy another property. So once one property is defaulted on, the entire portfolio is defaulted on. And if you understand banks, you understand that they do not want to hold property. They don't want assets, they want cash. They deal in cash. So you're going to see entire property portfolios liquidated. So you're going to see the price of properties plummet in the West because it's all supply and demand. So keep an eye on that. This is going to get really nasty. So in summary, where does all this lead? This leads to basically, if you want to move or relocate, then you want to do that now, sooner rather than later, because your opportunity to relocate later this year, early next year is not going to exist. So get out of debt and relocate and get to a place that you can afford to live. That's what I would suggest. But anyway, that's up to you. So anyway, that's all the world in summary in 7 minutes. If you haven't liked and subscribed to the channel, then do that and join the discussion at Overseas Exiles on the Facebook group, and I'll chat with you soon.